99% of people will die broke, while the remaining 1% quietly build empires that last for generations. And here's the twist. It's not luck, it's not inheritance, and it's not talent. 5 centuries ago, Niccolo Machiavelli uncovered a ruthless truth about power and wealth, a truth the elite have guarded ever since. What I'm about to reveal won't just challenge what you believe. It will either shake you to your core or unlock the strategy that changes your life forever. If you clicked on this video because you're tired of being told that money doesn't matter while watching others live the life you dream of, then you're in the right place. The secrets to riches aren't hidden in get-rich-quick schemes or motivational quotes. They're buried in the dark psychology of human nature that Machiavelli exposed in The Prince. Today you're going to learn why most people are programmed to stay poor, and more importantly, how to break that programming. The comfortable lie you've been told about wealth is about to shatter. What comes next will disturb you. The comfortable delusion. Right now, you're probably living in what I call the comfortable delusion. You've been told that if you work hard, be honest, and follow the rules, wealth will eventually find you. You've been sold the myth that good people finish first, and that somehow the universe rewards moral behavior with material abundance. But here's what Machiavelli understood that you don't. The world doesn't owe you anything for being good. Look around you. Who are the wealthiest people you know? Are they the kindest, the most honest, the most hard-working? Or are they the ones who understood something fundamental about human nature that you're still blind to? Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities." What he meant is this: people are predictable, emotional, and easily manipulated. While you're playing by the rules of fairness, others are playing by the rules of psychology. You see, wealth isn't distributed based on merit. It's distributed based on understanding. Understanding of power, influence, and most importantly, understanding of why people make the decisions they make. Think about your last 5 financial decisions. Did you make them based on logic or based on fear? Based on opportunity or based on what others expected of you? If you're honest, and I mean brutally honest, you'll realize that emotion, not logic, drives most of your choices. This is your first wake-up call. The people who accumulate wealth don't make better financial decisions because they're smarter. They make better decisions because they understand the game being played while you're still learning the rules. But here's where it gets darker. The system isn't just rigged, it's designed to keep you exactly where you are. The invisible cage. You live in what I call the invisible cage. It's a prison you can't see, made of beliefs you never chose, reinforced by a society that benefits from your compliance. Machiavelli observed that the most effective control isn't through force. It's through making people believe they're free while they're actually trapped. Your cage is built from 3 invisible bars. Bar 1, the morality trap. You've been taught that wanting wealth is somehow dirty, that ambition is selfish, that successful people must have compromised their values. This is the most insidious lie ever told. While you're busy feeling guilty about wanting more, others are busy taking more. Bar 2, the comfort zone. Your brain is wired to keep you alive, not to make you wealthy. Every time you think about taking a risk, starting a business, or making a bold move, your mind floods you with worst-case scenarios. This isn't wisdom. It's biological programming that served our ancestors, but sabotages your future. Bar 3, the validation addiction. You make decisions based on what others will think, not on what will actually improve your life. You choose careers that sound impressive over opportunities that create wealth. You spend money to appear successful instead of investing to become successful. Here's what Machiavelli knew that you're just learning. Fear is the greatest weapon used against the ambitious. Not the fear of failure. That's obvious. The fear of being judged, of standing out, of being different. The fear that if you actually pursue wealth aggressively, people will think you've changed, that you're no longer one of them. But let me ask you something. How's being one of them working out for you financially? The wealthy learn to fear poverty more than they fear judgment. You fear judgment more than you fear poverty. That's the difference. What I'm about to tell you about the psychology of the rich will make you question everyone you trust. The predator's mindset. This is where we dive into the uncomfortable truth. Wealth accumulation isn't just about money. It's about mindset. And the mindset that creates wealth is fundamentally different from the one you currently have. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The wealthy have mastered this principle. They understand that perception is reality, and they architect their image while you accidentally create yours. Let me show you the 3 psychological differences between those who accumulate wealth and those who don't. Difference 1. Time orientation. You think in terms of immediate gratification and short-term comfort. They think in terms of compound effects and long-term positioning. When you buy a new car, you're thinking about how it makes you feel today. When they buy assets, they're thinking about how it positions them 5 years from now. Difference 2. Relationship dynamics. You give your time and energy to anyone who asks, believing that generosity will somehow be rewarded. They are strategic about their relationships, understanding that your network determines your net worth. This doesn't make them evil, it makes them effective. Difference 3. Risk assessment. You calculate risk based on what you might lose. They calculate risk based on what they might gain. You see obstacles where they see opportunities. You see problems where they see profitable solutions. But here's the part that will probably disturb you. They study you. The wealthy spend time understanding psychology, influence, and human behavior. They know why you buy what you buy, why you work where you work, and why you make the financial decisions you make. They profit from your predictability. Think about it. Every subscription you have, every product you buy, every service you pay for, someone designed those offerings based on understanding your psychology better than you understand it yourself. Machiavelli said, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." While you're staying the same, hoping for different results, they're constantly adapting, learning, and evolving their strategies. But there's something even more sinister happening. The system actively profits from keeping you financially illiterate. The manufactured ignorance. Here's a truth that will make you angry. Your financial ignorance is someone else's profit. The education system doesn't teach you about money because educated consumers are bad for business. Think about it. When did you learn about compound interest? When did anyone explain the difference between assets and liabilities? When did someone sit you down and explain how taxes really work? Never. And that's not an accident. Machiavelli understood that knowledge is the ultimate power, and those who control information control outcomes. The financial education you didn't receive in school wasn't an oversight. It was by design. Let me break down how this manufactured ignorance keeps you trapped. The debt trap. You're taught to think of debt as normal, even necessary. Everyone has student loans. Everyone has a mortgage. Everyone has credit card debt. But wealthy people understand that there's good debt and bad debt, and they only take on debt that makes them money. The job illusion. You're programmed to believe that job security equals financial security. But every wealthy person knows that a job is the least secure way to generate income because your entire financial future depends on someone else's decision. The savings myth. You're told to save money in accounts that barely keep up with inflation, while others use that same money to invest in assets that appreciate faster than inflation erodes value. The system needs you to be a consumer, not an investor. It needs you to spend your paycheck, not build assets. It needs you to work for money, not make money work for you. And here's the psychological trick that keeps it working. They make you feel smart for following their bad advice. You feel responsible when you pay all your bills on time, even though you're just transferring wealth to others. You feel prudent when you save money in low-yield accounts, even though you're actually losing purchasing power. You feel secure in your job, even though you have zero control over your income. Machiavelli observed that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. You're judging your financial success by how things appear, not by what's actually happening to your wealth over time. The next revelation will show you exactly how the wealthy think differently about every dollar that passes through their hands. The wealth equation. Now we get to the heart of it. The wealthy don't just think differently about money. They have a completely different relationship with money. And understanding this relationship is the key to everything. Machiavelli wrote, "He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner effects his ruin than his preservation." In other words, you're focused on what should happen while they're focused on what actually happens. Here's the wealth equation that the rich understand, and you don't. Income, lifestyle inflation, plus strategic investment, autarkic compound wealth. But you've been programmed to follow the poverty equation. Income minus maximum consumption equals zero wealth. Let me show you how they think about every financial decision. When you get a raise, you think about what you can now afford to buy. They think about what additional assets they can now acquire. When you see an expensive item, you think about whether you can afford it. They think about how many hours of freedom it represents and whether it moves them closer to or further from their goals. When you invest, you think about not losing money. They think about not losing opportunities. When you face a financial setback, you think about how unfair it is. They think about what lesson it's teaching them and how to prevent it in the future. This is what Machiavelli meant when he wrote about fortune favoring the bold. It's not that the universe rewards risk-takers. It's that bold people position themselves to benefit from opportunities that fearful people miss. The wealthy have learned to delay gratification in ways that seem almost superhuman to you. But it's not willpower. It's clarity. They're crystal clear about what they want and why they want it. You're confused about your priorities, so every purchase feels justified in the moment. They've learned to think like owners, not consumers. When they spend money, they ask, "What does this purchase make possible?" When you spend money, you ask, "How does this purchase make me feel?" What you're about to discover about timing and opportunity will explain why you've been missing chances that others seem to see everywhere. The opportunity blindness. You're suffering from what I call opportunity blindness. The inability to see wealth-building opportunities that surround you every day. And it's not because you lack intelligence. It's because you lack the framework to recognize them. Machiavelli observed that fortune is the arbiter of half our actions, but she still leaves the other half to us. The wealthy understand that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. But you have to be prepared to see the opportunity first. Here's why you miss opportunities that others capitalize on. Problem 1. You look for perfect opportunities. You wait for the perfect business idea, the perfect investment, the perfect timing. Meanwhile, they start with imperfect opportunities and improve them through action. Perfection is the enemy of progress, and progress is the foundation of wealth. Problem 2. You overestimate risk, underestimate regret. You focus so intensely on what could go wrong that you never calculate what not trying will cost you over time. They understand that the biggest risk is not taking any risks in a world that's constantly changing. Problem 3. You seek validation before action. You want everyone to agree that your idea is good before you pursue it. But here's the reality. If everyone thinks it's a good idea, it's probably too late to profit from it significantly. The wealthy have developed what I call opportunity radar, the ability to spot problems that need solutions, inefficiencies that need optimization, and gaps in the market that need filling. While you're complaining about problems, they're calculating how much people would pay to solve them. While you're accepting inefficiencies as just the way things are, they're building businesses to fix them. Machiavelli wrote, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." In business terms, this means it's better to solve a problem people desperately need solved than to create something people might want, but don't really need. The opportunities you're missing aren't exotic or complicated. They're hiding in plain sight. Every frustration in your daily life is a potential business opportunity. Every skill you have that others lack is a potential income stream. Every network connection you possess is potential leverage. Every trend you notice early is potential profit. But you don't see these because you're trapped in employee thinking instead of entrepreneurial thinking. The final piece of this puzzle will reveal why your current environment is programming you for poverty and how to escape it. The environmental trap. Your environment is programming your financial future, and you don't even realize it. Machiavelli understood that we become who we spend time with, and the wealthy have weaponized this knowledge while you remain its victim. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. What are their financial habits? What are their beliefs about money? What are their expectations for their future? Because their answers are becoming your answers, whether you realize it or not. Here's how your environment is keeping you poor. The normalization of struggle. Everyone around you treats financial stress as normal. Money is tight for everyone. The economy is terrible. Rich people are lucky or corrupt. These beliefs become your beliefs through constant repetition. The celebration of consumption. Your social circle celebrates spending but never discusses building wealth. New cars, expensive dinners, and luxury purchases get attention and praise. Investment portfolios and business achievements get awkward silence. The punishment of ambition. When you talk about wanting more, people around you try to keep you grounded. They disguise their fear of your success as concern for your well-being. They'd rather keep you at their level than see you rise above it. Machiavelli wrote, "Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality." Your environment has trained you to judge success by appearances rather than by actual financial position. You know people who look wealthy but have no assets, and you mistake their image for their reality. The wealthy understand that environment shapes identity, so they deliberately curate their environment. They join groups where business and investing are normal topics of conversation. They seek mentors who have achieved what they want to achieve. They limit time with people who drain their energy or reinforce limiting beliefs. They consume content that expands their thinking rather than entertainment that numbs it. But here's what they really understand, that you don't. Your current environment has a vested interest in keeping you where you are. The people in your life need you to stay predictable. Your employer needs you to stay dependent. Your family needs you to stay available. Your friends need you to stay relatable. Your growth threatens their comfort zones. Your success highlights their choices. Your wealth-building activities remind them of opportunities they're not pursuing. This is why changing your financial situation often requires changing your social situation. It's not about becoming cold or abandoning people you care about. It's about recognizing that you can't grow beyond the expectations of the people who surround you unless you're incredibly strong-willed. And most people aren't. Everything I've shared leads to this moment, the choice that will determine whether you join the 1% or remain with the 99%. The prince's choice. We've reached the moment of truth. You now understand what Machiavelli knew. Wealth isn't about luck or inheritance or even intelligence. It's about psychology, strategy, and the willingness to see reality as it is rather than as you wish it were. You have a choice to make, and this choice will determine everything that happens next in your financial life. Choice 1, return to comfortable ignorance. You can close this video, go back to your routine, and pretend that what you've learned doesn't apply to you. You can continue believing that your financial situation will improve through hope, hard work, and fairness. You can stay in your invisible cage and blame external circumstances for internal choices. Choice 2. Embrace the prince's path. You can accept that wealth building requires a different mindset, different priorities, and different actions than what got you to where you are now. You can start thinking like an owner instead of a consumer, like an investor instead of a spender, like a strategist instead of a victim. But understand this, the prince's path isn't comfortable. It means disappointing people who expect you to stay the same. It means saying no to social activities that drain your resources without building your future. It means investing time in learning skills that your peers think are boring or unnecessary. It means accepting that you've been playing a game you didn't even know existed, following rules that were designed to keep you losing, trusting advice from people who aren't winning themselves. Machiavelli's final lesson is this: the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. In financial terms, you must be smart enough to see through the systems that trap you, and bold enough to take actions that others are afraid to take. The wealthy didn't become wealthy by accident. They studied the game, learned the rules, and played to win. They understood that money is emotional, that markets are psychological, and that success is strategic. They learned to think in decades while others think in months. They learned to solve problems while others complain about them. They learned to create value while others just consume it. Most importantly, they learned that wealth isn't just about having money. It's about having options. The option to choose how you spend your time. The option to support causes you believe in. The option to help people you care about. The option to say no without consequences. Your financial future is being written right now, in this moment, by the choice you make next. The final call. You now possess knowledge that most people will never have. You understand why the majority stays poor, while the minority builds generational wealth. You see the invisible forces that have been shaping your financial decisions without your awareness. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. And action without strategy is just busy work. The question isn't whether you can become wealthy. The principles work for anyone willing to apply them consistently over time. The question is whether you will. Will you choose the comfort of familiar struggle over the uncertainty of unfamiliar growth? Will you choose the approval of people who haven't achieved what you want to achieve over the respect of people who have? Will you choose immediate gratification over compound rewards? Machiavelli wrote his final lesson. Since it is difficult to join them together, it is safer to be feared than to be loved when one of the two must be lacking. In your financial journey, it's better to be respected by future you than liked by current you. It's better to disappoint others temporarily than to disappoint yourself permanently. The time for comfortable lies is over. The time for uncomfortable truth has begun. If this video has awakened something in you, if you recognize yourself in these patterns and you're ready to break free from them, then subscribe to this channel. Because everything I create is designed to give you the psychological tools and strategic frameworks that the wealthy use but rarely discuss. Like this video if you're ready to stop making excuses and start making moves. Share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. And leave a comment telling me which of Machiavelli's principles hit you the hardest. Your financial transformation begins with your mental transformation. And your mental transformation begins right now. The choice is yours. The time is now. The future is waiting.